Good morning. I think last week was a difficult week for all of us at church, especially for certain members of our family. And I think it's right for us to carry on looking at Matthew 15, but just to perhaps pause. I think death has touched us as a church family, particularly Sam's auntie and her family, and then at the weekend with Helen losing her dad. And then many of us are struggling with yet another week of lockdown and not knowing when there's going to be an end in sight. I think that's the time for us to pause and then press in to God. I want to start with something that we do on a Thursday night at the Celebrate School of Supernatural Ministries, and that's what we call declaration. So that's speaking out God's truth out loud, and we'll often stand up and repeat the words after each other when we meet together, and we're encouraging people to do that while we're meeting over Zoom during the lockdown. I can't stand up because my head will disappear off the screen, but I'm going to read the words out, and what I invite you to do is to repeat the words after me, and if you're able to stand, do. These are words of truth, and they're basically taken out of Psalms 73, 74 and 75. So we'll start. Ready? God is love. God is near. In his presence I am secure. In his presence I know I am loved. God is power. God is my defender. In his presence I understand. In his presence I will dwell. God, you are good. Amen. I'd like to read Psalm 73. The Psalms are so full of the whole range of our human emotions, and especially with the difficulties that we can find ourselves at times. So Psalm 73. Surely God is good to Israel, to those who are pure in heart. But as for me, my feet had almost slipped. I'd nearly lost my foothold, for I envied the arrogant when I saw the prosperity of the wicked. They have no struggles, their bodies are healthy and strong. They are free from the burdens common to man. They're not plagued by human ills. Therefore pride is their necklace. They clothe themselves with violence. From their callous hearts come iniquity. The evil conceits of their minds know no limits. They scoff and speak with malice. In their arrogance they threaten oppression. Their mouths lay claim to heaven, and their tongues take possession of the earth. Therefore their people turn to them and drink up waters in abundance. They say, how can God know? Does the Most High have knowledge? This is what the wicked are like, always carefree, they increase in wealth. Surely in vain I've kept my heart pure, in vain I've washed my hands in innocence. All day long I've been plagued, I've been punished every morning. If I had said, I will speak thus, I would have betrayed your children. When I tried to understand all this, it was oppressive to me, till I entered the sanctuary of God. Then I understood their final destiny. Surely you place them on slippery ground. You cast them down to ruin. How suddenly they are destroyed, completely swept away by terrors. As a dream when one awakes, so when you arise, O Lord, you will despise them as fantasies. When my heart was grieved and my spirit embittered, I was senseless and ignorant. I was a brute beast before you. Yet I am always with you. You hold me by my right hand. You guide me with your counsel, and afterwards you take me into glory. Whom have I in heaven but you? And the earth has nothing I desire besides you. My flesh and my heart may fail, but God is the strength of my heart, and my portion forever. Those who are far from you will perish. You destroy all who are unfaithful to you. But as for me, it's good to be near God. I have made the sovereign Lord my refuge. I will tell of all your deeds. In this, the psalmist is almost overcome with the injustice in the world and is questioning even his own good choices. And yet it's when he enters God's presence that he has understanding. For the psalmist, he understands that faith in anything other than God is shaky and temporary. For us, in our situations, when we come into God's presence, we may not get an intellectual understanding, but it may be that, like Job, when he is struck by the presence of God, he's able to say that he spoke of things that he did not understand, things that were too wonderful for him to know. God never leaves us or forsakes us. I love the story of Jonah, but the bit I love is when he's in the belly of the fish. That's as a consequence of his disobedience. But in that dark, damp place, God is there with him. There's nowhere we can escape God. Even the darkest place you can think of, he will find you. I've just started reading this book by Patrick Regan, Honesty Over Silence. And I was struck by a passage, and I'd like to read that now. Instead of instinctively trying to run away from darkness, perhaps we need to learn to be comfortable there, to listen to the noises, to look up and see the stars, to be reminded again that even in the dark times in our lives, God has not abandoned us. Often things are the opposite of how they feel, and far from being distant, God is close and using the time to reveal more of his glory, to help us see the stars above us. Maybe there's more to discover in the darkness. Maybe it's time to stop trying to run, allow ourselves time and space to adjust to the light, and ask God to be our guide as we walk into the darkness. I'm going to play a song that Jessica wrote, and while it plays, I'd just invite you to think about the truth of the hope that we have in God because of Jesus, and let God's presence and the fact that he's always with you wash over you.
You've heard the lines, know it every time. Heard every story, now you just wanna hide away. Fake a smile, make it seem worthwhile. We are still waiting for the first light of day. Stumbling, wandering, but so close to morning light. So lift up your head, wake up again. Every breath you breathe says this is not the end. Open your eyes, the sun will rise. Don't close your story, there's still time to mend. You've spent way too long in the dark, so watch out for shooting stars, 'cause light's coming where you are. I know you're trying so hard. I know you think you haven't gotten very far, but strength isn't something that you've never had. So take a hold, I know you'll last through the stumbling and wondering. You're so close to morning light. So lift up your head, wake up again. Every breath you breathe says this is not the end. Open your eyes, the sun will rise. Don't close your story, there's still time to mend. You've spent way too long in the dark. So watch out for shooting stars, 'cause light's coming where you are. You're coming out the other end, what a beautiful sight to see. Through the stumbling and wondering, you're more than what you once could be. You're coming out the other end, a beautiful sight to see. Lift up your head, wake up again. Every breath you breathe says this is not the end. Open your eyes, the sun is rising. So lift up your head, wake up again. Every breath you breathe says this is not the end. Open your eyes, the sun will rise. Don't close your story, there's still time to mend. You've spent way too long in the dark, but now this sun became a star. So watch out for shooting stars. Watch out for shooting stars. Watch out for shooting stars. 'Cause light's coming where you are.
Would you pray with me? Father, thank you for the hope of life that we have in Jesus. Thank you for your goodness that never fails. The Lord, in this time when across the world we're reminded of the frailty and the fragility of life, I thank you that you are there with us even in the darkest moments. Father, we lift up to you our family members that we know are struck by that, for Sam and his family, for Helen and John and their wider family, that you'll be their comfort. And for all those that are grieving across the country and across the world, whether it's because of the pandemic or because of other reasons, would you be their comfort? And if you'd like to just say out your own prayers for those you may know around you. And Father, as we go out into the day, may we be reminded of your presence with us, that you never leave us, that even though the times where we're not aware of it, you're still there with us. Thank you, Father. Amen. And may you go into the day knowing that God is with you and his promise stands that he'll never leave you or forsake you. Bless you.